Welcome to New Day Cleveland. I'm Natalie Herbick, and today it is a celebration of all things handmade right here in Northeast Ohio. So over the next hour, you're going to meet artists and makers who turned their passion into a career, from pottery to woodworking and even upholstery. We begin with a local couple who, stitch by stitch, are hand-making leather aprons. This is Leather by Dragonfly.
There's 3 tools here. This is going to be the hand pocket, and see how it's placed exactly where his hand needs to be. Leather by Dragonfly is a local business. We are husband and wife owned, and the core of our business is we make custom leather aprons. For whatever your job or hobby is, we're going to custom fit your tools onto your body.
I was in the shop one day and I dropped one of my squares, and I ran into the house and I said, Michelle, you got to make me an apron. I dropped my square, and she said, I can do that. And she made me my custom leather apron, not this particular one, but another one, our first one in fact, and I made a YouTube video. And in the video, one of the comments was, where'd you get that apron? And I said, my wife made it for me. He says, do you sell those? And I asked Michelle, do we sell them? And she said, yes, we do. Brown is my most favorite color.
A custom apron is going to fit into any job or hobby. So if you are a barbecue pitmaster, if you're an artist, a jeweler, a hairstylist, a barber, we've even helped surfboard makers, welding, forging. If you can name it, we have probably already made an apron for it.
We work with our clients, and through a video fitting, we place their core tools where they need them on their apron at arm's reach.
And our aprons are made to fit their body. So if you want it short, if you want it long, if you need it wider, if you need minimal pockets, if you need a ton of pockets, we work with all of that. We're going to use full grain leather, we're going to use 3/16 stainless steel hardware, and we're going to use hand peen copper rivets. This is going to give a very long life to the apron, strength, durability. Another difference in our apron is we hem all the edges so that they're not raw, unfinished edges.
There are a lot of the upgrades that we use that the craftsmen are looking for. For example, we place a magnet on ours to hold little bits or screws that they're working with. Another thing would be different color thread. If you notice on my apron, I have black pockets with a brown body and red thread to kind of customize it to my person or what I would want to look for.
All good.
When Michelle and I were dating, I was on a fishing trip to Canada, and her mother and both my parents have passed. And while I was in the boat one day, a dragonfly landed on my knee. A short time later, the dragonfly flew away, and I was thinking about my parents. And I said to myself, would my mother and father appreciate and think Michelle would make a good wife for me? And just then, 3 dragonflies landed on the seat in front of me. And that was my mother, my father, and Michelle's mother. And then ever since that day, dragonflies were very special to Michelle and I.
My favorite part of Leather by Dragonfly is I get to create every day. I get to work one-on-one with you, filling a need that you have. I'm helping you be organized. I'm helping streamline your process, speed up your business, make you happy in your shop.
That's the rivet. The feedback that we get from a lot of our clients is that they don't know why they waited so long, and they always tell us the same thing. It's the most used tool in my shop. Looking back at it, it always seems to be the same conversation. Michelle and I will be having coffee in the morning outside on the deck, and we look at each other and we said, we make aprons.
Like many of the artists that we are featuring today, Leather by Dragonfly is based out of a home studio. So the best way to connect with the business and place your order is online. Now, from leather to pottery, handmade works of art that you can use in your kitchen, this is Farmhouse Stoneware.
Farmhouse Stoneware it's a response to God's calling on our lives. We probably have close to 90 different items that we make, and everything is dishwasher, oven, and microwave safe. So it's utilitarian as well as aesthetic. Mugs are a huge seller. Some of the unique items we do are apple bakers and egg bakers for the microwave. Chicken roasters is a huge item for people personally as well as for gift giving. And then he makes wedding bowls.
The term for for working on the wheel is called throwing, and that's because of that. Now the next thing I have to do is add water. Then I have to get the clay exactly in the center of the wheel. Now I'm going to go down in the center. It's called opening up. When I start, that's when the wheel is going its fastest. As the process goes on, slow the wheel down because the piece becomes more vulnerable. Now understand, I was a mathematics major. I had to take my 12th math course, which was numerical analysis. I had an elective, and there was a pottery course available. And so I took the pottery course, and I averaged 4 hours a day, 7 days a week in the pottery studio, and I can't tell you a thing about numerical analysis.
Well, when we met, he told me his story about getting into pottery, and it just so happened that my parents had just begun to learn pottery, and when it was time to introduce him to my family, we met at a restaurant, and the three of them, my parents and Jim, talked pottery all during the meal. I knew nothing except that I liked pottery because this was so important to him to do more of. I don't know that we were thinking of business at that point, but he really loved doing it and he wanted to be able to be independent in his production. So I bought him a wedding present of a kiln. It doesn't take long to throw the piece, but then it has to dry. Once it's dried, it goes through a firing of about 1500 degrees, and that's called the bisque firing. Then the piece comes to me, and I glaze it. If it's an order, we glaze it the color that the customer wants. Otherwise, it's my choice. And that part I like because it's the creative part. But then it goes back to the kiln to a glaze firing, and that's about 2150 degrees. And when it comes out of that, it's ready to use. It really connects us. Most of our life is centered around this. We love to make things with people in mind, you know, and how they'll use it and how they'll be blessed by it.
Farmhouse Stoneware is located in Chardon, not too far from the square. You can visit the showroom and the studio most days of the week. Still ahead, breathing new life into tired chairs. Wait until you see these transformations. Welcome back to New Day Cleveland and our celebration of all things handmade in Northeast Ohio. This next artist is taking old chairs and turning them into the most talked about pieces in the room. This is Sitting Pretty Fab.
Sitting Pretty Fab is creative custom upholstery for the bold and stylish. It's for people who love color, who are looking for something different, who want a really great statement piece in their home. Sitting Pretty Fab was a little business that kind of started out of nothing. I used to be a fashion stylist for Anthropologie out at Crocker Park. It was a wonderful place to work. I was really inspired by all the mixed prints that I got to work with and style customers. But I had this little voice inside my head that said, you can do so much more. And I was on Instagram and I was scrolling through and saw this amazing, beautiful chair that a lady down in Texas named Wendy Conklin had designed. And like a little light bulb went off, like, she's doing on a chair what I do on a body. Like, I can start upholstering chairs. I put something out on Etsy and kind of waited and waited and waited, and then I finally made a sale, and then I put something out on Facebook Marketplace that I had made and someone bought it, and it was just so fun being creative and getting to work on something and getting to mix and match fabrics and make it fun and different and not like the same things you see in furniture stores. Sometimes the customer brings me a frame that they have that they want redone. I do custom painting of the frames. I do, basic repairs. Some people really love that because it helps them take ownership and have some pride over a really beautiful special piece in their home. Other times I have a ton of inventory and I have lots of different frames in stock for people to choose from. Sometimes I have sets, sometimes I have individual pieces. I have a variety in my inventory. If I don't have what they're looking for, I will go find it. This is one of my folding chairs that I do. It's going to be part of my new fall collection that I designed for Wayfair. This is a great Poochie print that I found online. I just thought it was totally fun. It has lots of color. It's a little bit retro and mod. And then to give it some extra fun and sass, I did a little pom-pom trim on this one. This chair is one of two that they were identical chairs that I found on Facebook Marketplace. Definitely a piece that was headed to the garbage. Painted it black, just classic black. This was a great bold floral, had lots of color, and then it also had some polka dots in it, and it was just fun and funky. And so I put it on the frame, and I mean, it turned out beautiful. I was really proud of this piece because it was a hot mess. A lot of people do have older furniture in their home. The older pieces tend to be the more solid pieces. Maybe the fabric is a little outdated. Maybe you don't like the color of that frame anymore. Those are really the best pieces. Don't throw them out. Invest in them. Put new fabric on them. Have me custom paint them for you and upholster. And it's like getting a really beautiful special piece in your home that you can be really proud of.
Visit Sitting Pretty Fab online or on social media to see more of her incredible work. All right, this next artist does a little bit of everything: blacksmithing, fabricating, metal art, and more. This is Rigid Ironworks.
Rigid Ironworks, the name of the business was originally Digger Blades. The first thing I started doing was making knives. I have a family member who collects knives, and when his birthday came up, I was going to buy one, and I happened to come across a YouTube video where the guy was making a knife, and I said, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot. The blacksmithing came about, I would say, 3 years later, and the reason I got interested in that is there's so much more creativity involved with the smithing. You could still do the knives, but you're not limited to just that. So I have an artistic background, and it really appealed to me. I use anthracite coal, which is the hardest of the coals. The benefit of it is very little smoke. I get a lot of requests for fireplace tools. The shovel, the poker, a set of tongs. I've done ornamental things like crosses using railroad spikes. I recently started getting into doing some sculptures using utensils, forks, knives, spoons. I've made animals, which is pretty much my favorite. I could be in here and have no idea what I'm gonna do, and then all of a sudden I'll say, you know, I see these railroad spikes, maybe I'll make a cross out of them. So if I don't have orders, specific orders to fill, a lot of times things just pop in my head. The blacksmithing is what I tell people is if you have an idea, if it's the roughest sketch, I don't care, just at least give it to me, and I'll end up drawing up a few things. If the person knows exactly what they want, I will, or they can even send me a photo, you know, if they see something online. I really don't like to duplicate something. If I try to duplicate one item, there's always gonna be something different. And it'll look the same, but if you put the two things side by side, then you'll really notice it. The wood carving is something that I could do. I'll sit out on the porch, on the deck, grab a piece of wood, and I could turn a block of wood into a character. It's very relaxing. It's a calming thing. It's the complete opposite from all the noise and hammering that goes on in the shop. Since I retired, it means so much to me because it keeps me busy. I could never just sit around. I wish I could have been doing this years ago if I would have found the craft. It's the creativity part that really drives me in both the blacksmithing and the carving.
Find Rigid Ironworks on social media to see his newest creations. We'll have the entire list of artists featured on today's show on our website, fox8.com, so keep that in mind. All right, still to come, a new use for old trees. Welcome back to Handmade Northeast Ohio, recognizing some of the talented artists and makers in our area. So this next business was born out of another business. Check out A Piece of Cleveland.
A Piece of Cleveland is recycling or harvesting local trees that we cut down and turning them back into furniture or just wood slabs, dimensional lumber, whatever you can make of it. The wood comes from A Piece of Cleveland, so all the trees, Shaker Heights, University Heights, Cleveland Heights, Euclid, all of the surrounding areas, suburbs, we get our supply from. We got walnut, cherry, tulip, beech, maple, ash, elm, sycamore. We work with Nature's Beauty Tree Service. Come out, give you an estimate, and if the customer wants the tree there, we'll leave the tree there. If they want it gone, removed off the property, we'll take it back to our headquarters. We'll have the guys bring it into one of our 3 sawmills. We have 3 sawmills, one that's 67 inches wide, 48 inches wide, and 30 inches wide. We either turn it into wood slabs or we're starting to make dimensional lumber. Then you gotta let it air dry for a couple of months, and then you bring it into one of these kilns and it finishes the process. We have 3 different kilns, and depending on if it's slabs or dimensional lumber, we put them in a certain kiln for about 4 to 6 weeks.
I'm the dryer. I manage the kilns. There's 3 kilns. This one uses deep vacuum to lower the boiling temperature of water, and we draw it off as steam. Once a day, it goes through a drain cycle, and basically we let off the vacuum, and it rains on the inside of there, and all the water drains out the bottom. And this wood is about a week away from being done. It's been in there for about 5 weeks now. There's probably about 30,000 pounds of wood in the box, and when we're done, it'll be 20,000 pounds, and the 10,000 will be water. To make it stable, to keep it from moving over the season, if you took air-dried wood, each season it would be a different shape. This is a way to stabilize the wood so that furniture makers like it.
Patrick usually take the piece, we plane it down, sand it, and then put a little finishing coat on it. We started doing the epoxy recently and just get a bunch of cool stuff.
People will just see my work here and then pretty much say, can you make me something like that? And something like that goes through my mind, and I just kind of try and recreate what I have done on the other projects. Every piece is going to be very different from the one previous, but it's sort of like a labor of love, I'm lucky sort of to be able to come in every day and do something that I like doing.
A Piece of Cleveland is located in Cleveland. And from there, we head to Norwalk, home to a studio and gallery featuring the work of some very special artists.
Today I'm working on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum.
Artist Open Studio, we are a nonprofit art studio specifically for adult artists with disabilities in our community to express themselves through painting and drawing studios in clay. They come here to work on their own individual art, and then we support them in selling their art in the community. Every time they sell a piece, they get a commission, and they actually, some of our artists want to know like who exactly bought their piece, where it's hanging in their house. This space I feel like was meant for us. It's got these long gallery walls where we can display art year-round for the community. In the back we have an accessible studio space area with sinks. And we want it to be inviting and creative as well as professional for the artists to display their work.
It means I have a place to go and paint and with other people that can come in and paint or do ceramics. It's a very good thing.
It's an open studio vibe, so our artists come in. We invite local artists to participate alongside of us from 1 to 5 o'clock on Tuesdays. And then on Thursdays we have clay studios. So those open studios are happening on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Otherwise, we are open to the community for consumers to browse and see what's on display and buy our products as well. We do work sessions for our artists to come in and get paid to make items such as coasters. We have our fun mugs, which are really a cool Jackson Pollock splatter. We have jewelry that our artists have made to go back to support our mission as well. So there's so much to see here and many ways to support us. I just want people to know that they're always welcome here. We're an inclusive, progressive space for people to be welcome here and embrace the arts, and to understand that we're really making amazing fine art for you to enjoy as well. When I go home at the end of the day, I'm very inspired. I'm very inspired by the individual art that's happening. As an artist myself, that keeps my creative energy going as well, to see what's happening. And the response, so people that actually really want to support us and want this to succeed. It's been really positive for us.
Well, hopefully, just not buy my art, buy everybody's art, you know, because there's a lot of good artists that we have here.
Artist Open Studio is located on Main Street in Norwalk. They're open Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Our journey discovering local talent continues after this with a trip to the past. Welcome back to New Day Cleveland. Our next stop is taking us to the town that Thomas Edison made famous. There's a shop that's honoring his legacy, and it's music to your ears.
Sights and Sounds of Edison it's an antique shop that my wife and I kind of started, you know, a little family business after I retired. And so basically it's an outgrowth of my hobby. Growing up in Milan, Thomas Edison has been my hero and hobby my whole life. I collect anything Edison, but probably the most common thread is the Edison phonograph. And the special thing about that is the horns, and most of the horns that were ever made were made of metal. I had collected about 15 years, and I owned 75 of these machines, and I had never seen a wood horn to buy. So I thought the only way I'm going to have one is to make one. And so I just love it. I mean, it's not work, it's just a passion, and I love to work with wood. And you know, we developed the entire system, you know, to make these horns, all from scratch. I'm not great in music myself, but the people that are, you really can notice the difference between a wood horn and a metal horn. The metal horn is going to be, you know, a lot tinnier and so forth. And the wood resonates and it's more mellow, and you know, it's just altogether better. We make all kinds, 25 different styles, all different sizes. We make any size from, you know, like 12 inches in diameter, and some of them are panel, some of them are perfectly round and smooth, and a lot of the other things that are added, they're done for two reasons. They're done for aesthetics, and they're also done for strengthening, you know, the horn. And so it's not uncommon to spend 50 hours on any one horn. It's a labor of love. Once I start and make that, you know, to put the first piece or whatever, I can't wait, you know, to see it done. And all the way through the process, the end result of every horn is a little bit different. And so you can't wait, you know, to see it, and you get it built. And then you can't wait till you see the finish on it, because that's, you know, when a lot of the beauty just pops.
Sights and Sounds of Edison is located in the heart of Milan. It's recommended that you call ahead before you head out the door. So there's another woodworker that's sharing his passion with his entire family. This is Silo Woodworking.
All right, let's cut some wood.
Silo Woodworking officially got its name probably about a year ago, but like my woodworking journey started probably 2.5 years ago. My mother and father-in-law said that they were looking for some Adirondack chairs, so I figured I'd give it a shot. I have a full-time job, but I was looking for kind of a creative outlet. What started as just a set of Adirondack chairs turned into somebody asking for a table, someone else asking for a table, a coworker asking for a table, and it's just kind of built on itself. Cutting boards, obviously, dining room tables, coffee tables, Adirondack chairs are all things that I've built in the past and currently have in the works. I have done built-in entertainment centers, cabinets. The cutting boards were designed to have 4 strips of maple in a solid walnut cutting board. The 4 strips represent each one of my 4 kids. They were initially designed and made as Christmas gifts for the grandparents. The print shop saw them and they thought that the story was kind of fun and unique, and they decided they wanted to carry them in the store. So I've been making them there and they've been selling pretty well. My kids are constantly out here running around in amongst everything. What is safe for them to be doing. But they are very intrigued and always wanting to learn and see what we're doing. I'm wanting to show them that, like, if you have a passion, no matter what it is, and if you follow it, you can be successful at it. My daughter is one that's out here all the time looking for something to sand. My boys are always picking up little scraps of wood and creating something out of them. Just letting them see me working, that was a big part of my childhood, as I witnessed all my family working and seeing the value of hard work and a day's worth of work. People would ask what I want to be when I grow up, and it was always a good husband, good father. And now when you find your passion and you can incorporate those two things, that's where it's becoming very, very exciting.
Check out Silo Woodworking online. It's a great way to see his newest creations. And when we return, hand-built in Rocky River, it's lake-inspired pottery. Welcome back to Handmade in Northeast Ohio. This next artist is literally building her creations by hand. Check out the pottery at Jennifer Lee Studios.
I'm a potter, a one-woman show that's trying to make functional pieces that people love. I create Lake Erie-inspired, beach-inspired handmade pottery, and I like to call it pretty but functional. So look at my pottery, I hope that you see, you know, the water and the beach and the driftwood and, you know, that whole feeling. I started doing pottery full-time about 6 years ago. What I do is called hand built. And so instead of a wheel, I use my hands. I also use a slab roller. And I do a lot of slab work where I roll out a thin piece of clay. I'll shape it. I have templates, so I'll cut things out. And it's almost like making sugar cookies. You know, you roll out this big piece of clay and then you cut as many shapes out of it as you can and recycle the bits that are left. What I'm making is a salt pinch. So I weigh them out so they're consistent, and the salt pinches are a little tilted on the side so that they can hold the salt, and you can get your hand in there to grab it. I always put my little mark on the bottom. And then those shrink to the perfect size. It is like therapy. I don't know if I could have made it through the pandemic if I did not have pottery. It's very tactile. You're always thinking, you're problem solving. It's like, okay, if I want to make this shape, you know, you have to think 2D and 3D. And so coming up with patterns and that kind of thing, and pushing yourself, trying to come up with, you know, okay, people are responding to this piece. What can I do that's similar but different? So I'm fortunate enough to share my studio with two amazing potters, my friend Carol Mack and my friend Jen Beck. And the nice thing is we all three have very different styles, but we really play off of each other and ask each other, you know, oh, what do you think about this idea? Or I was thinking about glazing it this color. So it's really nice to have three of us in here working together.
Jennifer Lee Studios is located in Rocky River. She also ships all over the U.S. So have we inspired you to get creative yet? Well, it's easy for you to make a masterpiece with the experts' help at Hammer DIY Studio.
Handmade DIY Studio is a studio here in North Royalton where you can come in, you can make your own custom projects for your home, for presents. We do a lot of kids' birthday parties. We do private workshops. My daughter and I have always wanted to do something together since she was little. And you know, the time finally came where she had graduated college and we had started talking about a few things, and it took us about 3 years, I want to say, to finally for everything to come together. And it was unfortunate that we found the perfect spot during the shutdowns and quarantine, so we decided to go for it.
Everything is customizable. You choose your background color, you choose the colors you want for your words, and then your stain for your frame, so everything can fit your home. The first step would be to pick your project. Online on our website, we have a Google Docs form that you can go on and pick your project. They all change pretty much by month or seasonally. We add new projects on all the time that you can go on and choose whatever you want. The sizes are pretty much the same. They are usually a 16 by 20 or an 18 by 18. We do have smaller projects, but that one is those are the two sizes we usually do for parties. We have a lot of people come in here and they're like, I do not know what I'm doing, like this is not gonna turn out well, and they leave loving it. So you do not need artistic ability. We use a stencil, so you don't have to hand paint anything on, and we help you with absolutely everything.
Some of our walk-in projects that are really popular are our dog leash holders. We have about, I think, 30 different dogs to choose from, and you can customize it with the names. The s'mores boxes have been really popular this fall. Beer bottle openers, our trays, our 12x12s. You can always come in and find something quirky, something that no one else really carries in the area. We like to carry little things because we have a lot of people that come in here that either just want a quick gift, or they want something to go along with their project that they're working on. We carry some different quirky kitchen towels. We do a lot of home decor, things like that. We really like the DIY kits. So along with the DIY to-go wood kits that we also offer a lot of DIY kits for kids. We're starting to make pieces that we sell as well. We custom order wooden shelves and hooked shelves and things like that.
It's just so much fun seeing people come in and think that they can't do it and then walk out loving it. So we have a lot of fun together.
Hammer DIY Studio is located in North Royalton, right on Route 82. When we return, more than a dozen artists coming together to form 2 small shops. Welcome back to New Day Cleveland. We are recognizing some of those artistic talents throughout our area. Tucked away in Burton now is our next stop. You'll find a floor filled with all sorts of unique creations.
Inspired Home Decor is a gift shop. We're located on the 2nd floor of Quintilia's Tea Room. We do chalk couture finished pieces. We also have gift items, home decor. We do seasonal artwork. We teach classes on the chalk couture as well. Chalk Couture is a company that does home decor pieces, and you're basically using a transfer and chalk paste, putting it on a surface and making it into your own finished piece. We also have local artists. We have a couple of people who do finished furniture pieces. We also have an artist that does candle making, and another one that does tea-themed decor. We have cute tea-themed jewelry, little teapots and teacups. We also carry vintage cups to purchase and vintage teapots. We share with Pip's Pieces, who is also has a gift shop and has an art studio. We were here by ourselves for the first year, and then I think that having Pip's studio here and her gift shop brings more people up and a variety for people to choose from. If there's something that might not interest them in our shop, they may find something there.
Pip's Pieces Art Studio is a great place for people of all ages. I teach classes here from age 7. I've had up to 70 plus doing my classes. They all can do the same art, no experience necessary. I do mandala dot painting on vintage vinyl records, all kinds of paint pouring, and beach glass picture classes. The dot painting is a old ancient technique where you use dotters that I have here. They're acrylic dotters, and I have templates that I chalk paint a pattern on, and you literally just dip and dot and dip and dot until you get the way you want it. I have 9 artists with me, including my granddaughter who's 10, who has her own little shelf. She's been making stickers out of my paintings and some jewelry, slime, of course, for the kids. I have a few different jewelry artists. One does copper and sterling. Another one does Ohio and Cleveland-based themes. I have a friend that brings fresh lavender in. She has wreaths and sachets, some bouquets. I have another one that's doing crochet. She's got some scarves in here, and she's going to be teaching some classes.
I do have some of my other artists teach classes too. I really hope that they realize everybody has art inside of them somewhere, because I have a lot of customers come up and they're like, oh, I have no artistic talent. And I'm like, I bet you do. A lot of people think that because they've never tried. So that's why all my classes are geared for all ages, all the same type of art with no experience necessary, so they can all try it. And I'm telling you, people come up here, especially with the mandala dot painting, they're beautiful pieces. They're all amazed at themselves and happy.
Both Pip's Pieces and Inspired Home Decor are located on the second floor of Quintilia's Tea Parlor, right on the square in Burton. Another good stop, by the way. Our final destination is bringing us back to Cleveland, and it is Rust Belt Reclamation.
Rust Belt Reclamation is a custom case goods manufacturer. We service a lot of different industries, a lot of hospitality, workplace, some multifamily developments, senior living, all kinds of industries. So when I say case goods, we're talking about tables, cabinets, console tables. We do a lot of reception desks, that kind of freestanding furniture, and it's all custom. So we don't have a standard catalog of products. You can't come here and say, I would like the Hadley table and I'd like it in this color and this configuration. That's not how we operate. So we're completely custom. We do work on some residential projects as well, and the products that we fabricate can go into a lot of different spaces, including residential spaces. We're a wood shop at heart, so when you come and see our operation, you'll see us working primarily with wood, but most of our products incorporate stone, steel, some glass. A lot of the tables that we put out today will incorporate power and data hubs, especially the boardroom tables and reception desks, pieces like that, so everyone can charge their devices. All of our material is locally sourced. Some of it is reclaimed out of buildings. Some of it comes from local mills. We are working on a couple projects right now where the owners are bringing trees down for new construction, trees that needed to come down for that construction. We're taking those trees out to our mills that we work with, and we're having them milled and dried there, so then we can build furniture for their new home or their new office building from that material. Each craftsman you'll see over there has their own area that they work in, their own set of tools, and they've been given a drawing set for that project that they'll fabricate that piece. From fabrication, it goes up to finishing, to our finishing department. And then once it comes out of the finishing booth, it will go over to our logistics department, where everything goes through final assembly, it gets photographed for marketing, and then it gets packaged and then shipped out. Our team is highly skilled, and I usually tell people that I meet on the street that they're overqualified to be doing what they're doing, because they are. I'm really fortunate to have this team that I have. We have people with master's degrees and people that have been woodworking their entire lives, and people that just live and breathe furniture, and they show up because they love to do it. It's really important for me to put out a great product and provide great service, but just as important to me is our culture here. And I want everyone that works here to want to walk in the door every day and be fulfilled with what they're doing. That's what this company does. We make some really interesting products. We face a lot of challenges, but at the end of the day, we enjoy doing that. We like to show up and do that.
And that does it for our tribute to all things handmade in Northeast Ohio. If you have an artist or a maker that you think that we should be checking out and featuring, reach out to us, Facebook, Instagram, or email us, even through our website. Fox8.com is also the place to get that complete list of the makers that we featured on today's show. I'm Natalie Herbick, and we'll see you on the next New Day Cleveland.